Okay. Then we will move to item 15, which is city council reports, and Councilmember Espandola, you lead off.
All right, thank you. So I already reported about the Bi-County Homeless JPA. I won't go into much more details of that. I will just give the very quick highlights of it, is that the chairman of that board or group is going to be Steve Smith, the Sutter County CAO. I am the ex officio representative liaison between the Healthcare Council and the jurisdictions of elected officials. Dan Flores is the alternate, and our new city manager, Davon, and I are going to work closely. If I'm not able to attend, he would step in my absence, and working closely with Johnny Burke, who is the executive director of the Yuba Center Homeless Consortium. And these meetings will possibly happen quarterly, but maybe every other month, depending on the need of the agendas and items that are happening in our community. So now that we have this workshop potential, we might recruit through that group. Then I attended the Feather River, or actually I did not this last month, I'm sorry. I just want to highlight that the Feather River Air Quality Management District, we were awarded $45,000. That's one of those items that we consent items today for school crossing. So that comes out of that particular district of us participating in those meetings. There was no North Valley Integrated Regional Water Management Group. I did attend the Regional Water Authority meeting along with Diana Langley, and it was mostly some closed session that we were able to participate, because thereafter we had to move on to a training that a lot of us had to attend, which was the AB 1825 training for sexual harassment prevention required by our city. So we were only able to be there for about an hour or less. Attended the Sutter Buttes flood control meeting, and Councilman Harris was there present along with me on this. What I reported last month was pretty much the same that occurred in this last meeting. One of the biggest highlights that we're moving towards in the Sutter Buttes flood control is the 200-year flood plan is going to be hopefully approved here in the near future, which is a real big deal for the northern region of California. And so that is big news. But I just also want to include that there has been discussion in those meetings, Anita, about the homelessness and the destruction of levees and within the water areas and with sports fishing, all those things. That body also has discussions in reference to homelessness. So you're more than welcome to attend. They're open to the public. They're on our website. I did not have any other meetings, other committee assignments. As I mentioned earlier, I participated in the League of City webinar, learned a lot about the American Rescue Plan. Local community events, many of us attended. I'm not gonna take the credit, but it was great fun to be together in Marysville to celebrate the 141st Buckeye Parade and giving the resolution. That was a very wonderful experience. It was a different kind of parade, and I'm sure our mayor will talk more about that, and our vice mayor, we were there. I was invited by a local church group because I have been vaccinated. I'm a person who has chosen to be vaccinated. Many of my family have chosen to be vaccinated. For those of you that are not aware, there's been several deaths in my family because of COVID. And it's really been a challenge within my own nuclear close-knit family. And so I was asked to speak with a church group of members to help them ask questions about the vaccination process and what I experienced and what my family's experienced. And the majority of the community was of nature Hispanic and English as a second language. I have also been invited and met with some local banks regarding financial support and services. Specifically, what their interest is trying to target small business owners who are having challenges with English as a second language and continuing their businesses in these COVID crisis moments and then moving forward. I have also had meetings with some local businesses and other elected officials regarding the concerns of broadband and infrastructure needs. So that is a conversation that I've been invited to participate, along with Women's History Month, which has continued because we're still in March. March has not ended. And I'm grateful to Sierra, Christy, Katie, and all the fantastic women of our city. We took a picture this last Monday, and if you check on our social medias every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday consistently, something is being highlighted about our workforce in our city, and I know our police department is joined in on that, our fire team is joined into that, and I'm very thankful that everyone's really embraced this idea along with my asking to promote our women. So lastly, I'm extremely proud of our women workforce and the community, and I just want to give you the thanks for giving me the opportunity to celebrate you all, and that is really important to me. So thank you. I am done.
All right. I have a couple things, pretty light over the last 2 weeks. However, by way of SACOG, I am on the Land Use and Natural Resource Subcommittee. We had a meeting and basically an update on the Regional Early Action Planning funding activities, which is, I could go a deep dive, but we'll leave it at that. Also, SACOG's housing initiative, the new one they have is they're calling it Mind the Gap, which basically we want to pay attention to the gap housing. They also call it the missing middle in some ways. We have high-end housing, low-end housing in some cases, but that middle stuff, the moderate income housing, we want to pay attention to that as well. So basically SACOG and local governments are essentially doing the best we can to work together to tackle the housing challenges in our entire region. Thank you for covering Sabufka. And then, of course, the CalCog board, I'm doing the basically still the onboarding process, learning that organization. It's a statewide organization, and just learning the ropes on that, how my role at CalCog can fit into my role at SACOG, and of course how SACOG transitions to Yuba City to help out staff. And the few projects that we have going through SACOG, trying to get some funding to hopefully improve our roads and quality of life and infrastructure around here. Never-ending battle, but it's worth fighting, and we're all working very hard to do that. So that is it as far as the last 2 weeks go. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Kirchner.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome.
I'd like to thank the folks in the audience for showing up tonight. This was fun. This was exciting, and I think our community strives with community involvement. So thank you for showing up tonight. Lots of stuff going on. Start with the mosquito vector. All things mosquito. We had our meeting. They're discussing comprehensive media outreach program this time of year, which is pretty normal. There's surveillance done for properties with pools, and if a pool looks like it's getting green, they try to reach out to the owners and ask them to address that. And so they took a bid for an aerial services for $6,700 to cover that cost. There was also a move for a Medicare supplement for surviving spouses from their employee. Four people qualified. Also, their search for a new vector ecologist. They had 3 applications. Nobody in that 3 worked out, so they're going to go back to the drawing board with that. But they did find a new mosquito control technician one out of 11 applicants, and they actually hired a second one due to retirement. Lastly, it looks like their fall strategy to go into the orchards versus the rice fields was a success. So they're going to do more of that in the future. Next item was I was included in the business retention task force that our vice mayor kind of spearheaded, and I'm gonna let him talk about that because I know he'll do a lot better job than I will. I'm gonna move on to the meeting with the Gilzeiser Drainage District. This was my very first meeting, and they elected me chair. I was not expecting that. The vice chair will be Supervisor McKelly. The only thing on the agenda was we approved the last meeting, which was in December. Adoption of a resolution of support for both a sphere of influence amendment and annexation of the area of Newcomb Ranch into the Gilzeiser County Drainage District, and that passed. And I'm excited. I'm very excited that we're going into red tomorrow, and it happens to be today, and tomorrow's St. Patrick's Day, and I plan on going out in our community and supporting our businesses. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember. Vice Mayor Shaw.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's actually been a busy couple of weeks, hit on many things here. Our budget ad hoc committee has met and started taking a look at the vehicle replacement fund, which we've known for quite some time. It's had to be looked at. It's as big of a task as handling the budget itself. And so we've worked through that. But more importantly is we're going to be bringing forth very soon the findings that we have found during the past year. I can tell you that it's been a 2-year process between, for the ad hoc committee, myself and Councilmember Harris last year, myself and the mayor this year. I don't think there's probably not a stone that we haven't unturned in the past 2 years looking to see where our dollars are going and trying to bring recommendations that will make our budget even more transparent for the public, because they shouldn't have to look at something and question really where it's at. It should be self-explanatory as much as possible. And I will tell you that our department heads have done a great job. So that will be forthcoming. Development impact fees, again, we met with Sabufka and Yuba City Unified as we're looking at things going forward with those impact fees. So looking for an upcoming meeting here in the near future as they bring us back more data. GSEC, Greater Sacramento Economic Council, attended their meeting. They gave a complete financial report as far as where it's at financially and what they're doing for the area. We increased our board to 73 members. The city manager was on that meeting with me as well. And really finding out where the synergies are going to fall for us as a city between GSEC and the EDC. So looking forward to ongoing meetings that I have with Mr. Broom coming up. The Business Retention Task Force, we met as well. What our job with this task force, as the mayor kind of outlined, is asking 3 important questions. What are we doing right? What are we doing wrong? And what are we not doing that we should be doing for our businesses? So the first data dive that we're doing in this is really, we're going down deep and figuring out what are our businesses in Yuba City. You know, what are they comprised of? What is their gross revenues? What is the employees? Things of that nature, so we can better understand them. Then the next step beyond that is going to be to dive into that data and figure out how to break it apart so we can address the needs of the specific industries and businesses here in our community. And we want to be open for business, and we do not want to stand in the way of any business here. And that's the first step. Our next meeting will be coming up in a few weeks, and there'll be more to report. Coming up on the horizon, we've got the Yuba City Transit coming up on Thursday. Looking forward to that. They'll be bringing back a recommendation for the next state-of-the-art facility. That will be Thursday at 4. The RWMA has been canceled at this time, but they will be bringing forth the JPA probably within the next 60 days to go out to the municipalities. We've continued to work on the Bogue Stewart Master Plan Tax Agreement. Mr. Mayor, I'll let you continue to speak with that one. But very hopeful and optimistic, and we need to get that across the finish line. Hop Sing Society, congratulations. Thank you for including us. It was an honor to be a part and an honor for the city of Yuba City to present the proclamation this year. Mr. Mayor, again, you did a good job. You feeling the accolades tonight? Just want to make a last couple of comments here about the American Rescue Act and the funding. In the past year, this has been running at an incredible pace the way these things come out. So I will go ahead and ask the public to be patient with us as we navigate, because while our city manager is doing everything he can, as the CARES Act funding came out, I was in constant contact with authors of bills all the way up to Treasury Secretary Mnuchin. We were getting information. The media was pointing one way. We knew something else was coming. These bills out of DC are coming that fast. So bear with us. If it sounds like we're going one way and something changes, it's probably because something has changed. And that's just the way DC has been operating for the past year. So looking forward to that, but it will be a continual moving target there. Lastly, Chief, I want to thank you, and I want to thank Chief Alexander as well. Public safety is a top priority, and we do everything we can to protect our community. We've heard everything you said earlier, but please realize at the same time a lot of the things that you talked about, because that was public comment. Now I get to actually respond a little bit later. As I said, there are a lot of things we don't control. And I will just give you a little taste of what we have to deal with. Because like the PD, when they deal with things and take people over to the Sutter County Jail, they have no control. It's out of their control beyond that. There's 2 bills that's been introduced, AB 81 and AB 82. This is all coming out of or SB 81, SB 82 is coming out of the Senate. Senator Skinner, that is actually wanting to reduce some of these sentencings for what they consider robbery. This is the stuff that these agencies have to deal with. So, Chief, and if you're related, Chief, my hat is off to you guys. You guys do an incredible job, and this is the stuff they have to deal with. So please join me in supporting all of our employees, but primarily based upon tonight, our public safety employees, because they do an awesome job for this city. And let's see, is anything else? I think that's it, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Y'all have been very busy. All right, encouraged to hear about the Business Retention Task Force. I know that that's going to prove to be a valuable piece of information for us. I'm going to hit these things pretty quick. Buckeye, it's been mentioned, thank you to the City of Marysville for their invite to allow us to participate. It was a different method of a parade where we were static and the cars went by, but I think there was a lot of excitement about that. And I also want to call out the efforts of George Barlow and our city manager, Dave Vaughn, for setting up the place where we were going to be there with Councilperson Espindola and Vice Mayor Shaw. Master Tax Exchange Agreement, yep. We're still working on that. We've got another meeting, I think, scheduled this week now. So we're continuing to push forward. On the Budget Ad Hoc Committee, the Vice Mayor mentioned the Vehicle Replacement Fund. Just to give you a little bit more for the audience or anyone else, is the city sets aside money for its eventual purchase of vehicles. And over time, due to budget constraints, that fund has been tapped sometimes for other things or hasn't been funded due to recession, et cetera. So what we're trying to do is get our arms wrapped around that and just take a good hard look at that. I also want to message to the council, we owe you a budget ad hoc committee review. We talked with staff about that, and we're putting together that. I would assume that will be probably at the next council meeting where we can put something together to give you an update. These are the things that I was participating in, and it was a boatload. I participated in onboarding our new planning commissioners. They were seated, I think, on the 6th or the 10th. Anyway, then they immediately had a meeting the next day. I want to give thanks to our city attorney for an excellent presentation to them to get them off on the right foot, and to Ben Moody for shepherding them as they begin their important tasks of helping with the city's planning commission. I did attend the Gilzeiser drainage meeting and was so proud to see Councilmember Kirchner immediately elected to the chair. I don't know how happy he was, but he will lead that group very well. And as he mentioned, we did take a look at Newcomb Ranch, and because part of that Newcomb Ranch, which is Bogue Stewart master area, does drain through the Gilzeiser. Attended a LAFCO meeting. We got an update on Newcomb Ranch, update on the Gilzeiser Drainage District sphere of influence, and we also got an update on Sutter Point. If you know what Sutter Point is, that's the master plan community to the south part of the county that the county's working on. Along with the city manager, I met with the Yuba City's Downtown Business Association. Over the years, the city has partnered with the Plumas Street Business District, if you will, and nothing has ever really, through research, we found that there wasn't really a lot of understanding of what the city's responsibility and the Downtown Business Association's responsibility as it pertained to events like the summer stroll or the Christmas stroll or just maintenance on the street. So we've begun those discussions with the expectation that we can produce a good understanding of each other's responsibilities moving forward. Met with the Sutter Buttes Flood Control Agency on the subject of their development impact fees. And Michael Bissett, a really good person who leads that organization, is working with the board that we have representatives on, but they're doing a study right now to make sure that their fees that they're collecting are commensurate with the services they provide. They're messaging that those might be able to be reduced. Further meetings will be held. Yuba City Unified, met with Yuba City Unified, the vice mayor, myself, and staff, and began those discussions. There are some things in our city's growth policies that we require development to participate in, and there's some questions about whether we actually have the ability to really do that or not. We're not here to impact the abilities for schools to collect the fees that they need to, if development comes, it needs to pay its own way. But we just need to make sure that when we're a partner in that everything that's happening as far as fee collection is above board. Not that it's below board, just making sure, because it hasn't been dealt with since 2005. I want to make sure everyone is invited to the city manager's welcome event. This is something that's being sponsored by local business. It'll be held at City Club, which is on Plumas Street. There are 3 different times. Please go to our website. You're all invited to come and meet Mr. Dave Vaughn in person. And I do want to mention, because it came up from Ms. Elphick, is that we are in the process of planning our goals and priorities workshop to revisit our goals and priorities for the city. This is something that we did a year and a half ago, maybe, and we invited the public to come. Staff's there, and we revisit the city's goals and priorities in advance of the development of the city's budget. And as you can imagine, there's quite a bit of things that go into that, especially with the current situation with pandemics and businesses and everything else. Other than that, I do want to echo Councilmember Kirchner's comments. It's really nice to have you all here. It's not always easy, but it's nice to have you here. And you know what? Your voice is heard. We may not always agree. We may not always have the ability to fix what you think we should fix, but I can tell you darn well that we pay attention and we give it our best. So again, thank you all. And with that, we will call this meeting closed.